What is going on, guys? Politics Gaming here, and today we're doing a very quick video previewing Nuclear War Simulator. Nuclear War Simulator is a game by a guy named Ivan, in which, if you've ever played the web application of the same name, basically this is the exact same thing, except it's just better modeled. There are more features in this. If you are interested in purchasing or supporting the artist who made this game, please check the description below. You will find it. The game is free. However, please, I do recommend, this is what I did, I do recommend you actually supporting the guy who did it. You can do it for as little as $1. You can go as high as you want. So supporting this guy in any way you can really does help this guy, and there's a lot of features that he does want to introduce for this game. So again, supporting him in that way will help him. So in any case, let's go ahead and show off some of the features of Nuclear War Simulator. Basically, we have a map all over the world, and so the green and yellow areas, and maybe even red areas, I don't know if they get red, basically these are population centers of just people in which they live in these areas. Now, a lot of these areas are sometimes populated by different bases, so you're seeing a couple of different bases, such as in Denmark. For example, there's a lot of them in southern and western Germany. There's some of them in the Netherlands. There's a lot of them in the United Kingdom, as the United Kingdom is a nuclear power. None of them in France, surprisingly. There's a lot of them over in the Balkans, some of them in Kosovo, Hungary, Croatia, and then Italy. Southern Greece actually has one too. And then they're also completely populated all over the Russian Federation. There's a lot of them, and I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of these. Basically, these guys right here, these are just military bases. These are just military bases in which they can house different units, or they just literally serve as a military target. Some of these areas right here, the triangles, these are areas in which they are populated by ICBMs, or intercontinental ballistic missiles. The ones with the keys are the control centers in which these missile silos are actually controlled. I believe that if you actually take these guys out first, these guys will not be able to launch. So then you actually come over here, right over here in Saratov. This is actually very popular in the nuclear community, I believe, because there are so many nuclear missiles right next to this area right here. And if there's a nuclear war that's going to go off, this area is going to be completely gone. There are some Air Force bases here as well. You actually do have the option to use air-based delivery systems, and you have several different kinds of delivery systems. You have ICBMs, you have bombers, and then you also have land-based nuclear missile launchers. These are the ones right here in which Takeovo, right outside of Takeovo, these guys can still be targeted. However, these guys usually are the ones that are on the move and are able to possibly dodge incoming missiles, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to target these kinds of areas. So in any case, I'm going to go ahead and show you what you can actually do with this game. So in smaller scenarios, basically, we can start it off like this. We can start it off with some sort of smaller scale nuclear war. And as these guys are on their way, I can actually go ahead and do a retaliatory strike. Since we actually did suffer an attack on Kuwait City, we can go ahead and launch our own retaliatory strike. And in terms of casualties, you can actually study the effects of the casualties that can be caused by wars like this. In the event of an exchange between Israel and the Islamic Republic of Iran, 9.05 million Iranians would be killed, 2.8 million Kuwaitis would be killed in the event of an atomic strike against Kuwait. 1.7 million Israelis would have been killed, and 455,000 Palestinians would have been killed in a crossfire. And then there are environmental effects to this. About 1 TG would be of soot would actually be launched into the atmosphere, and global temperatures would drop by zero point 0.3 degrees. This is one of the most in-depth scenarios I've actually been able to associate with. It's really interesting, and one of the other cool things is that you can actually visualize the fires that would be started from these atomic attacks. One of the things that is actually really cool, if I actually hit the calculator, believe we will see some of the fires actually. Let's go scenic. Okay, so it's going to be in the scenic route. Let's go ahead, and one of the most interesting things about this game is that you can actually visualize the fires that would have been started after these nuclear exchanges. Now, if you actually look, you can actually see that Israel and Iran have completely destroyed themselves. Several military installations still survive, one in Turkey, one in northern Israel. I believe this one is actually north of Nazareth. But the one in Iran was barely touched. I mean, it actually was touched. So one of the things that's actually really interesting is that it does visualize where these fires are. So the fires are actually in the lightest red right here. Now, the fires that are actually being started are in this area right here, but the most of the deadliest fires are in this area right here. The military base actually barely even missed it, but it's very, very likely to be heavily damaged. One of them I actually did miss in northern Iran, but Bandar Abbas, Tehran, this area right here, and a lot of Israel have been completely destroyed by this nuclear exchange. Now, instead of regional conflicts between Israel and Iran, you can actually create scenarios in which these actually have worldwide proportions. You see a lot of bases in eastern or actually western Germany, southern Germany, the United Kingdom, the United States, and then Russia, as well as their submarines. So one of the things that we're going to go ahead and show off is we're going to show off the full-scale nuclear war. And the end result of this atomic war resulted in the deaths of 60 million Russian citizens, 25 million Americans, 12 million British citizens, 8.4 million Germans, because of the massive concentration of American bases that was in southern and western Germany. And now, if you look at the screen, you will see the result of these atomic exchanges. You will see that fires will rain just constantly with the amount of nuclear concentration. It's completely justifiable that these areas would release so much smoke and so much just destruction that it would possibly render the United States and several areas in the United States uninhabitable for centuries or even millennia. Now, if you actually look in these areas right here, these little triangles are spattered, just saturated with different explosions of nuclear ordnance, and you see some of them actually survived. Now, some of these usually are actually being launched from SS-12 or SS-24 type of missiles, and which some of these may actually, and I believe that these actually were not destroyed because they were not directly hit. You can actually see that the triangle is a little bit out of the center of this explosion, so it survived. Unfortunately, we cannot say the same for the cities of Milwaukee, Chicago, Minneapolis, major cities in California. The San Francisco metropolitan area was completely hit. Los Angeles is completely gone. Phoenix looks like that is completely rendered useless. One nuclear explosion in San Antonio, and then several nuclear explosions in the center of the city of Houston. The East Coast is completely gone. Nothing is left, most likely. Baltimore is hit by 5 nuclear missiles hit the city of Washington. Looks like 1 missile hit Trenton. Very good concentration of atomic weapons on the city of Philadelphia. New York City is shattered, just completely gone. Nothing is left. There should be nothing left. Even if it is, radiation would be killing everyone within miles of it. Boston is gone. Very, very, very unfortunate causes here. Southern Canada, Montreal, Toronto, Quebec, Toronto, I think I said that again, been completely destroyed. Seattle, Washington, they're completely gone. Anchorage, Alaska, and Hawaii were actually not even touched. But unfortunately, Western Europe is gone, United Kingdom is gone, and the United States is gone. And lastly, the last feature I want to show off for you guys is this last one right here. There's a little button right here in which I can cause single explosions. Now, you look at St. Petersburg with how many missiles they probably got right here. One military base actually did survive. Now, so if I actually wanted to destroy this base, or see the probability of how close this nuclear missile would have to get. So if I'm in the red area, still bit surviving, it actually does survive. If it's in the blue area, still survives, lots of damage most likely. And if it is in the yellow area, complete destruction of that base. And I believe there's a lot of casualties from that, even if we did it. But look at all of this smoke right here. It is absolutely astonishing. Not Barcelona. Madrid. This is Madrid. Madrid got hit by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 atomic weapons for some reason. That is interesting. So then I can demonstrate it 2 more times. 1 nuclear weapon right there, and then 1 nuclear weapon right there. And then 1 for good measure. Let's go ahead and drop 1 on Gibraltar. And Gibraltar is completely gone. Then I can calculate those results again. And then if it does set anything alight, then it does start a fire simulation. So again, it is really, 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 really interesting. So I can do literally the same thing to Barcelona if I wanted to. and then I could click this, and then it starts some fires. It shows you where the radiation starts up, and then the fires start up as well. So interesting stuff to see Russia and Eastern and Western Europe completely on fire from atomic war. So again, if you guys like this, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.